I'm Maddie and this is Crocheted, where everything is crocheted with a cross. I thought it'd be really cool to go on here and share with you my goals for 2026 as a crochet business owner, as someone who runs a crochet business. Now, I have had a little room layout change around. My storage space has stayed the same, but I have moved this bookshelf, which has now got my stock, some variegated yarn, and some granny squares, which have a purpose, but they're just going in a shelf for now. Then I have organised the space a little bit more, so I now will have a whole space free, and then this one here. Now, this is only here temporarily because I need to get through my whips, and then that there will be my reds, because obviously got reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, purples, pinks. They're in colour order, at least to the way that I like it. Now, my first aim for 2026 is for all of this to be used up. Now, the reason for doing this is not because I have a massive stock. I really don't. I have a very small amount of yarn in comparison to a lot of other people. It's fine, it's great to have lots of yarn. I want more yarn, but this is what I can afford at the moment. However, I'm not happy with how it looks, and what I would like to do is have them in skeins and then cake them when I want to use them. So my thought process for this is that I'll use each colour at a time. Obviously the reds have all gone with my Cat on Fire for Jesus cardigan, so the reds will be changed first, and then as I use each ball of yarn, as I use all the yarn from each cubby, I will then restock the yarn in skeins and not cake them up, because I much prefer the look of skeins stacked up over cakes. Although cakes are easier to use, they're more functional, I will then take out a skein, cake it and use it. At least that's my plan. So that's my idea. My first goal is getting all of this used and then stocking up with skeins. Now this will be a year process. I can't just buy a whole stock of yarn in one go. So this will be colour by colour at a time. So yeah, that's my first goal. My second goal, to achieve this first goal, is to do how much yarn do I use a month video. Now I'd like to try this at least once. If it doesn't work out, then that's fine. I will not do it, but it's a great motivation to use my yarn. My second motivation is to reduce the amount of whips that I have. So I have a lot of whips. I will show you soon. I have a lot of whips. So that's my goal. Now, to make it a smart target, one that's actually specific and trackable, I'm going to count how many whips I have, and I want to halve the amount of whips. And so hopefully this time next year I will have half the amount of whips that I have now. So is that my second goal or my third goal? My third goal. Half the amount of whips I have. Now my whips are currently taking up 2 cubby holes, ideally that just have this one, so I'll need to halve it, and I have more whips on the side that I'll show you later. So yeah, that's my third goal. My fourth goal is I want to build up stock. Now, I make lots of different categories of projects that are all within one niche. So I make accessories with crosses on them, like bags and beanies. I make baptism gifts. So I have things like pocket Bibles and sheep, and things to remind us that we are God's people, that we are God's sheep. So those are baptism gifts. So the first one is accessories, second one is baptism gifts, and the third one is clothing. So I've made a few cardigans. I've got a few plans to make some more cardigans that are faith-based. So yeah, ABC, I like that. This is where the ABC stops. So I also would like to stock up on the patterns that I sell. So everything that I make is inspired, obviously. I'm not massively original, but I then change something to add the cross element into it. So what I would like to do is have 5 patterns out for people to buy on my Etsy shop. So that's part of the building up stock subcategory. So we've got accessories, baptism gifts, clothing, patterns. Now the last thing that I do is I am planning to make Bible characters from stories so they could be used in Sunday schools. I'm really excited about this. So a way to do that, or a way to come up with ideas to do that, is I'm doing the Bible in a year, but it's a little bit of a twist. So I've tried the Bible in a year once before during my GCSEs year, so it would have been about 15. We tried it as the youth group at church, and my brother and I were the only ones to get to, I think we got up to 250 something. The only reason we were the only ones, everyone else stopped within a week. So my brother and I were very proud of ourselves that we did, well, at least 2/3 of the Bible in a year. And then I had my GCSEs, so my mum said, stop and start back up after your GCSEs. No, I stopped and start back up. Now, it's not, like, Bible in a year is a bit of an interesting subject. It's quite controversial for a lot of reasons. But I want to grow closer in my relationship with God. And a way to do that is to learn about his word, which I think is really important. And so I'm doing my own version of the Bible in a year. So what I've done is I have made my own 3 Bible verses. I'll show you the book. Give me a second. Okay. I'm back. Okay, so I've got this book here, and in this book I have written the Bible chapters that I have to read each day. So I've got the number, so the day, I'm on day 8. I started just before Christmas. Day 8. And then it shows what chapters I need to read that day. And then I've assigned colours for each theme that comes up in the Bible. So for example, Genesis 24 is faith, and faith is the colour teal. And then I have that in this basket. I look for the colour, and then I make a granny square out of that colour. Now, the idea being that at the end, I will have 9 blankets. I put them into different categories. There's 9 or 10, I think it might be 10. Put them into different categories. So there's law, history, Gospels, Psalms is all one blanket. And the idea is that I make 1 square for every chapter and then put them all together in that category. So, for example, law, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I don't know. Anyway, those 5 books go into 1 blanket, which is 187 squares, and that will be 11 times 17. So 11 across, 17 down. And so in this book, I've written I got very motivated a few weeks ago, and obviously couldn't wait to start in the new year. It doesn't have to be January to January anyway. So I got all the way up to, I want to say July. I got the halfway through the year, and then theoretically by July I will have read half the Bible, 33 books. Now, sometimes I did feel like I was playing battleships, because I didn't want to write the names of the books out each time. So I put the name at the top, Joshua, Isaiah, Romans, and then I put J22, I62, 1C4, that's 1 Corinthians 4. So I felt a bit like I was doing some weird battleships game. But anyway, that's the point of this. And so far I've got up to Genesis 24 and Matthew 9 within 8 days. And I'm really proud of this. So far I've made 24 plus 9, that's 33 squares in the last 8 days. Slightly crazy, if you ask me, but that's what I've done. And so they go in a little bag that's next to my sofa. And then all the yarn scraps go in the box that's next to the bag. And And hopefully by the end of it, I will have some temperature blankets that is part of my Bible project. So that is my aim. So to finish my Bible blanket project. Yeah. So that leads on to my next goal. I've got quite a lot of goals, but I think they're all relatively manageable. I wouldn't have put them if they weren't manageable. So my next goal for 2026 is to, I had it in my head, it's all gone. That was a great introduction. Bible blanket project. Oh yes, that's it. I want to post every Tuesday and Friday on YouTube and then combine that together to post on Saturday for my Instagram, and that's to promote my business. So Tuesday, Friday are my post days, and part of that will be update on the Bible blanket, part of that will be how much yarn have I used, obviously that will be at the beginning of every month. Yeah, so that's my idea, so that's my plan. Obviously, plans don't always go to plan. God is good that way, that he doesn't use our plans, he uses plans that are good for us. He has good plans to prosper and not to harm us. So I'm not that bothered if my plans don't work out, because God has a greater plan. But as that being said, that is my plan for 2026. Now, to do that, I need to count my whips, finish my whips, and yeah. Well, finish my whips, that's a big statement. Half my whips, because currently they can't fit in 2 cubby holes, and they're not going to have 2 cubby holes because I want this one to be just white. So because I make crosses in everything I do, and I join my blankets and my cardigans with white, I would like just a cubby hole of white skeins. And I'm so excited. So I have a little sheet over here with daily goals, and then another sheet with monthly goals, and another sheet with yearly goals. And those are more personal ones. Some of them are crochet, for example, doing 5 crochet projects a month. Now, that actually needs to be on my goal. Let's add it at the bottom. And so I have a little tick sheet. So if I complete 5 projects in a month, I go across and I tick it. So it's quite an easy way to track whether I've hit these goals or not. One of them is to do a how much yarn have you used this month video, and post every Saturday on Instagram. So there's quite a few overlaps because I enjoy this. This is my hobby. God is my life and crochet is my hobby, and it's important to keep them distinct. But yeah, that's my plan. Yes, so the Bible blanket plan was also to take out ideas that I could crochet for Bible characters for Sunday school, or, you know, those kinds of ideas. So my first idea that came through it was making Adam and Eve, obviously covered up with leaves and stuff, because that's what happens in Genesis 2? Was it 3? No, Genesis 2 is when he makes the humans. I think it's Genesis 3. I don't know. It was like a week ago that I read it, so yeah. So next to, I haven't used every page, because on the other side of the page I've got notes. So any notes, I haven't started here yet, any notes that I hadn't realised before. Like if I've read a chapter, I've been a Christian my whole life, so I've read the Bible, but it's also good to look at, oh, what did I notice this time? So in here I put what I have noticed this time, and then down here I've got ideas. So Adam and Eve, leaves covering. And so I can go through and look for Bible characters that I can easily make that can be used for teaching stories from the Bible. So yeah, that is my goal, and I'm really excited to keep track of all of the goals that have been discussed in this video. Anyway, bye everyone!